Guys, this episode features Jozef Chen. If you watch this podcast for jiu-jitsu, I'm sure you're well aware of who Jozef Chen is. If you don't watch this podcast for jiu-jitsu, if you just watch it for the bullshit, you probably don't know who this guy is. But Jozef Chen, he first came to my gym, B-Team in Texas, as a 17-year-old with bleached blonde hair. I thought he was another regular tourist popping through. I rolled with him. I was very, very impressed with how good he was. This guy is like a mystery, right? So he's built his entire career out of training in China. He's from a place where there really isn't a ton of high-level athletes whatsoever. His story is unique because he did what everyone dreams of, what people think is almost impossible. I kind of feel the same way about my career. I came out of Australia. At the time in Australia, we had no real world-class athletes. Maybe Kit Dale, that was it, but he had already basically retired. I had to develop all my learning through basically Instructionals online, illegally acquired. Jozef Chen has done this as well, except obviously jiu-jitsu today, much higher level, much more professional sport. He was able to do the same thing at a time where it was very, very difficult. So Jozef Chen, he's a kid, he doesn't have a driver's license. Technically, he didn't finish high school. This seems to be a common theme, him and Nicky Ryan, but absolute prodigy. When he showed up, I knew his potential. We tried to promote him a bit, give him a bit of fame so he could make a living in the sport and still dedicate himself to competition, traveling, training. And recently he was able to take out the 77 kilo division ADCC European trials. So again, if you don't do jiu-jitsu, that is our Olympic qualifier. He did the European one. He did the European one. He could have also done the Asian one. That's why he's a bit of a mystery, right? So obviously he has an Asian appearance. He trains out of China. His heritage is South African. He also has a German passport. The kid is a mystery. Try to get to the bottom of some of these mysteries during the podcast, but a few things you're going to notice. He's still only a teenager. He does not speak like a teenager. He's very well traveled. I would say very intelligent, very goal-driven, very focused on his goals. And we had Nicky Ryan on here as well. So maybe, despite being younger than Nicky, a good inspiration to Nicky. And we get a bit of banter back and forth between the two. But again, if you don't follow jiu-jitsu, still give this a listen. We're just talking shit most of the time, but it's good to get an insight into what some of the young and up-and-coming athletes are like in our sport today. Because, I mean, when I was Jozef Chen's age, I was borderline retarded. I still am retarded. And this kid just seems like a more advanced human being than really myself, Nicky Ryan, or most of the people at B-Team. You know what I mean? He's an anomaly in this sport. So, guys, give this a listen. This is El Segundo podcast episode, whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, fuck, here we go. Oh, it's controversial.
Having that guy around is the best thing that ever happened to the squad.
If you have the right mix of autism and steroids,
all these pundits and whatnot, a lot of people doubting me, you know.
I don't want to fucking have a conversation while I'm showering, you know? Like, the hobby I do is already so gay.
You are now listening to the El Segundo podcast with Craig Jones.
All right, we are here with, we'll start at the lowest end first. Number 8 ranked, 77 kilo grappler, Nicky Ryan. And number 4 ranked, 77 kilo grappler, Jozef Chen. Double, he's twice as high as you on the rankings, mate. Twice the man you are as well, I would say.
Listen, the flow rankings are bullshit, okay? Damien hasn't competed for flow in forever. And he was ranked higher than me. And not only has he not competed for them forever, he lost his last 2 matches that he did for flow, and he's still somehow ranked higher than me at 66.
Right, you got to have some diversity in the rankings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But really, I mean, I don't know what's going on here. We've got number 8 ranked sitting in the throne and number 4 ranked sitting in the children's chair. What are we going to do about this, mate? We've got to have some fucking hierarchy around here.
Listen, all right. He knows I'm fucking ranked higher than him in real life, all right?
I don't know. Joseph's a tough round, mate. Tough round.
For you.
Jozef's back, though, from where have you been, eh? You were in Europe, and then you went to Bali,
Yep.
and then you went back to Shanghai,
Perfect.
and then New York, and now
Long list.
back here.
Yeah. So yeah, just after trials, did a bunch of seminars. Bali for the camp, see family, and then New York for a little bit, and back here. So
I wanted to ask you, right, I'm going to start this with a story from myself because you travel a lot. Obviously, Nicky Ryan, standard American, doesn't think the world exists outside the United States. Shocks he has a passport at all. But I travel a ton. There was a period where I didn't travel much, but coming up, I traveled everywhere to train, right? And some gyms, you get some weird experiences at. And one of the best stories, I won't say who told me this story, but something that happened to him.
interesting.
I mean, you guys are probably going to read into this thing happened to me. Might be my first gay experience, but obviously different places around the world. Like I've dwelled on this on the podcast many times about group showers, all those different scenarios, right? In Brazil, a guy I know quite well, he's getting changed in the change rooms after a training session, right? And some cultures are very, obviously in the change room, some guys hiding their dick, some guys swinging them around, right? This guy is down tying his shoelaces after training. And he hears a voice behind him call out to a guy standing in front of him. This guy turns around butt naked, slaps my friend right across the face with his dick.
Oh my God.
And then my friend was obviously very ashamed of that. I don't know what happened after that. That'll probably be my last session at the gym. But yeah, this was in Brazil. Obviously must have had a weapon on him. But yeah, how much weird shit do you see traveling around?
I think it was actually pretty okay. I mean, I didn't go to too many places, and the places I went to, I like knew someone there or like something like that.
This is actually a story you told me about yourself. That's the actual,
Good thing I've never been to Brazil. No. But no, I mean, everyone was super chill so far. I mean, I didn't do too many. Like I don't remember what year, but you did a seminar tour. It was like 100 days, and you did like how many? Like 70 something seminars.
Oh yeah, 75 seminars one year. I was ready to kill myself.
That is
and you did
insane.
like back to back to back to back, right?
Yeah, well, the one time I did 20.
It was like 2020.
One time I did 21 seminars in 22 days, and the only day I didn't do a seminar, I competed.
That's crazy.
And it was in England, which is like the whole time was overcast, miserable. You know, I like the people of England, the weather, terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, that's
You
why
just
they,
like a
that's why they
different-
all left.
Yeah, that's why we committed crimes to leave. our ancestors.
Is it like a different city, each one?
Yeah, I mean, you know what's funny is England's like so dense that like you look at it on a map sometimes you think it's not that far away, but if you drive, it takes you forever to get there. Shitty highway systems and stuff.
Yeah.
But Jozef, you're telling me, right, of all the places you've been in the world, number one, culturally, in terms of safety on the streets, cleanliness, is Austin, Texas, right?
I think New York is worse, but Austin's the second worst, maybe. I mean, I haven't been to anywhere super sketchy, but I don't like the U.S. so much.
Fucking cool.
You ever been to San Francisco?
No.
I heard that that's like the worst.
What, a guy wears a green T-shirt and you ask if he's been to San Francisco?
Yeah.
It's a nice T-shirt.
They have apps in San Francisco to see where like homeless person shit is, so that you can avoid it. Like there's an actual app for it now.
They should probably have that in New York as well.
They should, yeah. I've seen tons of homeless people shitting on the streets, just walking like one block from the parking garage to Henzo's.
There was a hepatitis outbreak in San Diego because so many homeless guys were shitting on the streets. Like they were saying, hey, don't wear fucking flip-flops.
Actually?
On the beach. Yeah, walking around.
That's crazy. Okay. Was it like that when you were there?
One time I visited, it was like that. I don't know. In terms of Australia, there's not as many homeless people in Australia. I think we house them.
Australia's
Out here,
awesome.
they're like, get fucked. You're on the streets, man.
Man, like when I was in Oz, like I was in Sydney and Melbourne, it was all nice. Like, I mean, Melbourne, I was told not to go on the beach, but
Not
Sydney
to go
was
on the
wonderful.
beach?
Yeah, they said there'd be needles and stuff, and I'm like, what? But I didn't see anything bad.
Really? Maybe St Kilda Beach.
Yeah, St Kilda.
Yeah.
But I didn't go anywhere else in Melbourne, so I don't know. But Sydney was wonderful. Like, it was super nice. Like, I mean, I didn't really have to travel so far.
So
but-
Australia, number one.
No, not number one.
That's the
but
number one destination.
I'm biased. Like, I like my home more, but I think Australia's solid.
Where is
I wouldn't
your
mind
home?
living there.
Shanghai.
I,
Where do you
in terms of
consider home?
Shanghai, I like Taipei a lot. Like, but I grew up there, so super biased, but I think it's nice. Like, there's beaches, there's mountains. It's convenient, it's clean, it's safe. Yeah, great food.
You like it more than Japan?
Japan's, but there's, like, in terms of, like, if you want to go to, like, the beach or something, you can't do it in that city. You have to go to, like, somewhere else. Or if you want, like, obviously there's Mount Fuji, but that's one mountain. Like, in Tokyo, you didn't really see much, like, nature or anything like this. So
Yeah.
it was, like, super densely packed city. So don't want too much of that. But I mean, I really enjoyed it, though. I mean, Tokyo's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did, too.
Yeah, it's my favorite place I've ever visited.
Yeah, you really enjoyed the confines of your hotel room there, right?
Yes.
Going from Tokyo to New York is like going from Sydney to India. That's what it feels like. Sydney to New Delhi.
That's what I did.
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wild transition. If you consider the public transport in Tokyo versus New York, it's just crazy.
I think relative to the U.S., because I don't know, I haven't been to that many U.S. cities, but I assume New York has the best public transportation in terms of U.S. cities. And compared to, like anywhere, like, I've been to, like, a few cities in Japan. All of them have better public transportation. China as well. It's like, I don't know, like, yeah, I don't know how New York does it. But.
New York's always entertaining on the subway because there could be homeless people fucking, someone could be shitting. There's dance shows that you're held hostage by. You're forced to watch. Like, it's great the first time. But the 100th time, some guys get on the subway with a boombox and start dancing. You're like, hey, fuck. Whoever that guy was on the subway back in the day that shot a bunch of people, like, I resonate deeply with him.
I felt like I was going to get into a similar situation. Like, one of the last times I was in New York, I was on the subway with Dima, and there's this guy in a ski mask, and I could only see his eyes. And he's here, he's just, like, looking with a paper bag, and he's like this, and then he removes his mask and starts talking to us like, you guys box? Or I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you talking to me? I'm like trying to ignore him. And then eventually he's like so up in our face where I'm like, okay, yeah. And I was like, no, we did jiu-jitsu. And he's like, that's some gay shit. And I'm like, what did I do to you? And I was like, I was getting like a gun or a knife or something. And then he goes back and I was like, we got off the train because we were so uncomfortable. It felt like actually scary. I was like, what is this? And everyone else is like, doesn't give a shit. They're like, there's like a fairly like moderately packed subway car. And I was like, this is insane. It's
honestly probably all Dima. If I looked at Dima on the subway too, that'd be someone I'd look to harass as well. You know?
Fair.
Funny story about Dima. Actually, we were partying in Bali. We're having a few drinks. Dima, from time to time, will have an alcoholic beverage.
I believe so.
Very rarely. It's a hard arm to twist, right? But I'd actually put some Molly in my drink at this particular event. And Dima, it was the one night he decided to drink. And Dima doesn't touch any drugs at all. And he came over to me and just grabbed my drink out of my hand and started drinking it. And I was like, well.
I told him afterwards, and he was like, I didn't feel anything. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it was like, he just felt because I remember that night he was quite happy. So maybe.
Yeah, you did me a favor. I slept better that night. Thank you for taking that bullet for me. But speaking of people that party all the time, Nicky Ryan.
Not all the time.
Are you full-time drug addict or athlete these days? What's the shift?
Split at 50-50, half and half.
That's why he's ranked 4, man. He's like a Buddhist monk. He does not touch anything.
No. That's why he's just he'll never make it. He doesn't party enough.
He's already made it, mate. He's riding off into the sunset doing seminars around Europe and Asia. He's a celebrity.
No, listen, you got to go the John Jones route. That's how you become a fucking goat, okay?
Goat.
You get blackout.
When are you going to kill a pregnant lady?
Again?
Who says I haven't?
Time,
Yeah. You got to get blackout, shit-faced exactly 1 week before you compete, and you'll never lose.
You might lose the pectoral muscle in training, though.
Yeah. Might get in a no contest.
How's that working for you?
Oh. Works sometimes, other times not.
Nicky Ryan is actually the most weathered. You're 22 now, eh?
22, yeah.
22, the most weathered, high mileage 22-year-old on earth, I reckon.
I think that's fair to say.
Joseph, we were having an argument today about, of all the individuals in the gym, who most requires therapy?
I don't think it's an argument.
You better think about what you're about to say, all right?
I have nothing else to say.
I like
Listen.
that he didn't say who, but you took it personally. That says everything we need to
Listen,
know.
J-Rod listens to fucking sad music all day.
I think that's pretty normal for someone his age, no?
No. He's just like the same age as me. He needs therapy more than I do.
There's actually a bunch of people in the gym that are the exact same age, but like on a personal level, some of them feel like they're 40 years old. Some of them feel like they're 12 years old. A lot of them are 12 years old.
Yes, for sure.
Joseph, he showed up at the gym. Oh, he did have bleach blonde hair at the time, but he showed up at the gym as a 17-year-old. Shocked me, just traveling the world by himself at 17. And I remember thinking, how is he paying for all this? And then he obviously told me he was providing sexual services on the side to cover his bills.
Definitely.
But it was shocking that you were 17 traveling the world by yourself.
Yeah, actually, I mean, that was like the first time I came to the U.S., so my mom was like pretty concerned at the time, especially that's when COVID was still like in the U.S., I think. It was still a little bit iffy, but people still cared, so it was a little risky. But beforehand, I'd gone to Singapore when I was 16 by myself, and that was like kind of like a precursor to that. Well, not too far, not too much of a culture shock. So like coming to the U.S., I mean, it was cool because I'd never been to the U.S. previously, but it didn't. I was,
What did you expect coming to the U.S.? What were your expectations of America?
To be honest, like, obviously beforehand I'd seen, like, I don't know, a lot of things saying, like, parts like, oh, Austin's cool, like, stuff like this, like, because everyone's been moving to Austin from, like, basically everywhere. But then I've also seen, like, oh, there are a lot of homeless people, drug addicts, stuff like that, and so I wasn't sure necessarily what to expect, but I was like, I had a lot of these things in mind, and it's like, I wasn't necessarily too surprised by some of the things. New York surprised me more than Austin. Austin was like, I didn't like Austin because it didn't have public transport, really, just because like I don't have a license. But in other regards, it was fine. But New York was pretty like shocking. I was like, oh my, this is more than what I expected.
New York, do you like or you don't like New York?
I like it after I've been away from it for maybe like 6 months. And then, but like I was in New York like 3 times over like the last 3 months. When I went back, the first day I was like, why did I come back here? But it's fun. It's like pros and cons. But
it killed me because like I would be living in New York. Once you live there, it changes everything. But I remember I'd be living in a shitty studio apartment where I'm literally sharing my kitchen with my next door neighbor. At night, homeless people would be screaming, waking me up. And I was thinking, I used to live in fucking Australia, close to the beach. What the fuck have I done with my life? And then I'd go to Henzo Gracie's and I'd see all these fucking absolute lunatics and be like, what have I fucking done with my life?
I mean, to be fair, I do think, why are you guys still in the U.S.? Like, I would much rather be in like Sydney or something.
High taxes, mate. Hard to dodge taxes in Sydney.
But it's so nice. But I can understand that. It's nothing I'm thinking about right now. But yeah, definitely New York. Where did you stay in New York when you were there before?
So I lived in Harlem. I lived in downtown Brooklyn. And then I moved to Hoboken. But at one stage, I stayed in a friend's apartment in Tribeca.
Oh,
Tribeca
nice.
I liked. Tribeca, because the subway line started there. You know what I mean? Like it was like a rich people subway line. So I'd get on an empty subway train and I'd be like, fuck all these peasants, you know. But when you leave in Brooklyn, I was in Bedford Stuyvesant at one point and it was just like fucking hectic in that place, eh? Like,
Fair. I try not to go too far from, well, anywhere major. I like to stay in the places where there is lots of people, just so nothing too weird happens.
I do appreciate the weirdness when I'm traveling, but not when I'm stuck in a place for a while.
For sure. I feel like Austin, you can avoid it for the most part, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, I didn't like it because I'd like walk to Target, and especially under the bridge, it'd be like a colony of homeless people. I imagine just driving past. It's like whatever. Once, I believe we were like driving to the Thai place near Central Market, and we saw this dude, like, I don't know if it was a dude or a lady, but it was like completely naked, fucking walking. And this was like summer, and we were like, what is this? Like, we couldn't even believe it. Like, Lynn was there, believe Sal was there. We're like, what is this?
Fucking don't say that around Nicky. What was the location, eh? I've seen him under the bridge getting some of these women into his car.
You're
yeah.
fucking mistaking me for Gundle, all right? The homeless are getting bad out here, though. They started to migrate all the way over to my house now.
Really?
I thought I was safe from them, yeah, and then...
Well, you house them. You get all these jiu-jitsu guys come to Austin.
That's true.
Money, and you're like, yeah, move in, mate.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You actually, we won't say who it was, but it was someone living in their car here, and you guys were like, oh, fucking move in, man.
That was Damien. That was not me. But that is true. But yeah, I thought I was safe where I'm at. I'm like 20 minutes probably from like the city. And like just last week, my neighbors, in my development, you like share a driveway that like leads into the garage. So it's in the back. And my neighbor, whose car is literally parked like right next to Damien, left his car unlocked. Some homeless dude went in there, fucking stole a bunch of shit out of his car. So yeah, they're starting to migrate over to my neighborhood.
Damien, though.
What?
Yeah, it might have been Damien.
That's true.
Times are tough in the Damien household.
Yes.
I wouldn't trust him, mate. Honestly, driving to your house though, the road is fucking crazy, eh?
Oh yeah, the streets out here are fucking terrible.
But particularly, like you get to his subdivision, the roads are nice, but to get there, it's basically off road.
Yeah, it's super bad. Yeah, like whenever I go to get gas for my house, I have to take this one road that is just like completely slanted with a huge fucking crack in the middle. So there's like a bunch of bumps and shit. You like have to constantly pull the fucking wheel to the left so you don't just go off the road because it's so fucking slanted. It's pretty bad.
Fuck that. When are you going to get your license, mate?
I have to be somewhere where I'm a resident for long enough to actually take the test. Like, because back in like China, where I'd probably do it, or like somewhere else where I'd have to be 18 over there, and then I have to be there for like 3 months. And so I haven't been back to Shanghai for like 3 months at a time, so that I can actually test for it. So I mean, hopefully at some point. But then I think I was told that I also can't rent a car until I'm like 26.
That's not true. You just have to pay extra for like insurance or some shit.
It's annoying. I'll go on Facebook Marketplace, buy a car or something.
Yes.
that would be good, eh? Also, how do you have a German passport?
Yeah, okay. Actually, this is a good question because I get asked too frequently.
You lie about your nationality and your age. I remember there was a Reddit post where they were like, this guy's 37.
37. I think that guy was trolling. But there's one. Okay, I can actually, addressing both of these would be good. So my mom's a South African German. So I believe her grandparents immigrated from Germany to South Africa, and she retained her citizenship through them. And obviously, because she was born in South Africa, she's South African.
You told me, actually, that she was a former Nazi escaping Germany to hide.
That makes sense, because she was born in, like, the 70s, yeah.
I mean, her ancestors.
No, they would have gone to Argentina, you know? But, so that's the German and the South African, and my father's, obviously, Taiwanese, so... And then in terms of the age, I did actually a funny story because the trials that are happening in Singapore next month, I've signed up for them since like 2020, since I was like, I don't know, like 15, when they first came out with it. And I signed up, and it's just been kept being delayed because COVID, and I don't know what happened last time, but they canceled the trials in Singapore and then pushed it back. So in order for me to sign up for that on SmoothComp, it didn't allow me to be my age and sign up. So I just made a fake account, put a fake age, and then signed up for it. So that's why I know on Reddit they were like, oh, he's 23 on SmoothComp. And I was like, that's because I made a fake age so I could compete. So, yeah, I saw that and I was like, what? But the 37 one's definitely a troll.
No, I'm just fucking with you, eh? So your mom's German, South African, and she currently lives in Shanghai.
Yeah.
How did she come to live in Shanghai?
So I think she grew up for the most part in South Africa, and then I believe she wanted to be a teacher, and then I actually don't know how she ended up. She was in Taiwan for maybe like 10, 15 years, and then after that we started moving around a little bit, and we were in China for a while, And then we ended up going to Shanghai. That was actually the second time I lived in Shanghai. But she's a teacher, so she works at a school. So yeah, I just moved around a bunch. But I don't know how she came from like being in South Africa to Asia. But I mean, she's been in Asia for like maybe like 20, 25 years at this point.
Do you still have family in South Africa?
Yeah, I believe my mom still has some cousins there, but my grandparents used to still live there, but they've passed at this point. But, not that I really know of. Like, no one we're super close to. Like, even I have an uncle, and he's in Korea. Funny enough, but
Your family's everywhere, right?
all concentrated in Asia. I don't know anyone in Germany. I assume there are some people there, but no clue who they are. But yeah, spread out.
Very spread out, yeah, because everyone's always asking me about your heritage, and I'm like, I got no fucking idea, right?
Yeah, I've gotten a few DMs. It's like, are you German? Are you like it's, and then like for trials, like I remember, because there were a bunch of South Africans there. I feel like the South African flag is the one I'm most comfortable like repping, because culturally I'm like not German at all. Like I went to Germany recently, and that was like the first time I went to Germany. But at least I'm also not culturally South African, but I've been there since I was a kid. So, and then obviously the Asian side can get a little bit more political, but
Oh, yeah.
like, so they had the South African flag and I was holding it, and Tommy was like, I thought you were like Asian. I'm like, it's complicated. It was like, I couldn't answer it on the spot, but it was funny. I saw there were a few questions about that.
Tons of questions, yeah, because you have the privilege of being able to do 4 trials if you wanted to. If you needed to. Obviously, if you're in a Nicky Ryan situation where you potentially needed to do 4 trials.
Yeah, I mean, it is convenient. Unfortunately, like the last Asian trials, they only had 1 of them, right? But I believe this year they'll have 2. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's a nice safety net to have. But I was happy to not have to do more than 1 trials this time. It was like a huge relief.
Well, you're lucky you don't have to do Asian trials, because that is the most difficult trials event. Me being a 2-time Asian trials winner, that's a tough trials to crack.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like, how many ADCC vets did you beat to win that trial?
Listen, we're going back a while. You know, some of us, we get invited back. We don't have to go back to trials.
Yeah. Been invited once. Twice, actually.
Does last-minute replacement count as an invite?
Yes.
He'll take it, mate. He'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, fair. Still youngest ADCC competitor. I mean, it's going to be
That
hard
is
for someone
true.
to beat that. You're gonna need, like,
Youngest
Oh.
and lowest IQ competitor ever.
Yeah, okay.
Stand corrected, eh?
You're shot.
Did you finish high school? No. So I guess I am the most educated. It's not easy, yeah.
I basically, I have most of my A-levels completed, but then the time where the exams were happening, I was like, oh, the trials are happening at that time. I'm like, I'll just do the trials. I can finish them soon, but right now it's not the priority.
How are your parents with letting you like not finish high school?
Once I started like being somewhat successful, my mom was like fairly supportive. She was just concerned, like, okay, I don't want you to be like homeless and like just fuck everything up. So once it was like clear that that wasn't the case, and I was like I was doing well in China, and then I was able to like be fairly well known there, and then compete internationally. After that, she was like quite good with it. But then my dad was just like, he's like, I think because he came from like a fairly poor family, and he didn't get to do university because he had to work. He really wanted me to do that, but he just, at the end of the day, just listened to my mom.
Well, you could go back and do it, because you told me that your aspirations aren't to compete for a long time, right? Like,
yeah, I won't. Ideally, if everything goes well, I won't be competing after like max 5 years. So
if you won ADCC, obviously crushing Nicky Ryan at the next ADCC, would you call it quits on top?
It would be. I'd consider it. I'd compete maybe for like. Because, like, competition isn't necessarily the most enjoyable part for me. It's more the training. So I feel like competition is like a means to an end, where I can, like, set myself up for, okay, I can have a gym, like, fairly well-known, and then I can, like, I enjoy teaching and stuff like this. So, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say no competition, but because I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself, especially when it's, like, trials. It's like, I really need to compete. But I don't know. It may change in the future if I feel more comfortable competing. But for the time being, it'd be something I consider. But, yeah, have to see.
I wanted to do that. Every time I've got second, I've gone, I'm going to fucking win this shit and never compete again. That's what motivates me. The thought of just retiring on top, talking shit, Like when I had your brother in the armbar, I remember thinking, I was like, that's it for me.
Yeah, I'm retiring after this one.
Send him a message every day for the rest of my life.
I'm fucking debating retiring after a silver medal at trials.
I mean, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. I've already,
Hey, that's why he's number 4, man. That's why he's number 4.
listen, we'll see. Fucking come ADCC, all right?
You have to make it to the second round.
I will. I've done it before. Maybe not second day, but second round, we got that shit.
Sure. I mean, you beat Jamil. Jamil's solid, so.
Solid gi guy, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, but
He's kind of fucking disappeared, eh? I haven't heard much about him.
Didn't Paulo Mia double leg you?
That is not true.
That's how you lost, huh?
That is not true in the slightest, no.
That's what I heard. That's what I
No.
saw.
I mean, fucked
I was too
by
busy winning myself. I
the
don't know.
refs, all right? That should have went to OT.
Nicky Ryan is honestly, like, if I ever have a tough day, I need to get out of something, I need an excuse, I call Nicky Ryan. Just let him rant about his day. And within that rant, there'll be an excuse I can utilize. Yeah, that'd be a good book you could write, eh?
Could write a book about a lot of things for sure.
Yeah, you should write a book about your life, eh?
One day, maybe.
It'd be a fucking twisted tale.
a cautionary tale.
When do you think, Joseph, you will make a public apology to the community for the amount of instructionals you've stolen? Is it stealing, or is it just like being
Someone
in touch
else
with your
stole
culture?
them. I'm just taking advantage of someone else's work, you know? Like, someone else, I haven't actually done, I mean, watching it, does it count as pirating if I've watched something that someone else pirated?
When I don't pay for an instruction, I feel like it's cultural appropriation. You know?
But at this point, like, I've actually gotten a few DMs. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna pirate your instruction." I'm like, "Do it." Like, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, that's what I say.
I probably deserve it.
I say pirate mine, but come to a seminar at least, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think in jiu-jitsu, I mean, there's no money in this sport. Like, I know so many people who pirate. Like, most competitors pirate instructionals. I'm talking from, like, out of my ass a little bit, but a lot of people probably pirate things. They're not going to buy everything. Like,
You know what this sounds like?
yeah.
It sounds like people that go, well, of course I'm on steroids. Everyone's on steroids.
Yes,
You know what I mean? Of
yes.
course I don't pay for DVDs. No one does steroids.
I mean,
There was a good comment the other day on one of the YouTube videos, and it was like, Nicky Ryan, Craig Jones, I'll buy your DVD. Nicky Rod, probably pirate it.
That's fucking amazing. Dude, there are some gems in those fucking YouTube comments.
Oh, fucking so good, eh?
I mean, I have sent some links in the DMs for people asking, but probably won't do that now that I've said this. Just because.
Zenga, send the fucking police after him, mate. Guys, I am back with another Mood commercial. Don't skip this. Hear me out on this beautiful Mood product. Mood is known for their federally legal THC, but now they're doing their most potent product yet, and that is THCA flower. This stuff is really good. This stuff helps me sleep at night. And for a man that has done as many horrible things in his life, as many things that he should feel guilty over, and really it should keep him up at night, this THCA allows me to fall asleep peacefully, innocently, as if I were Gandhi or something, like I've done nothing wrong with my life whatsoever. And I think that is a testament to the utility of this product. But really, yeah, it does calm me down, really does help me sleep. And obviously, when I'm training at the gym with some of these idiots at B-Team, occasionally they might give me a little bit of difficulty. We might have to use a bit more power than usual. We get a bit of muscle soreness. This does help relieve some of that soreness. So obviously it's helping alleviate some of the mental and physical stress associated with this fucking stupid sport I've built my career on. Again, great for sleeping. Wake up fresh as a daisy. Helps me kick my Xanax habit, which gets out of hand when we're traveling. And again, most importantly, this product is legal all over the US. You're not going to have any trouble taking this across any borders at all. Try Mood's new THCA flower today. And for 20% off your first order and a free gram of THCA flower, go to hallomood.com and use promo code FCraigJones. That's hallomood.com, promo code FCraigJones for 20% off your first order and a free gram of THCA flower.
I haven't specified which instructionals I've pirated.
Have you pirated any of ours?
I've never bought any of yours.
Wow.
So, I don't know if I've pirated them, but...
What about Jason Rao? Wow. What a piece of shit.
Jason Rao.
Even
Bro,
Jason Rao.
He's going to watch this and he's going to hate me now. I'm not going to be able to go back.
Good,
That's our
you
plan,
deserve
mate.
that. Yeah.
Piece of shit.
We're doing you a favor keeping you out of New York, you know? It's
I'm trying to save money. I'm a young kid. I'm a teenager. I need to save money so I can train and travel, you know?
See, that's
it's
a
a
fucking
tough life.
hardworking teenager, mate.
Yeah.
You need to get your life together.
Listen, some of us are
You know-
here year-round working hard.
Not
all right?
all of us had Gordon Ryan as our brother,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm.
Some of us had to work hard on the internet and find ways. No, not all of
You shook him. You had to say it.
I know what to say, I just can't say it.
Ooh, this is fun. No.
Jason Rao's out. Would you stay in Long Island when you train there?
Yeah, sometimes if I can get a place. Like last time I went with Demo, we got a place nearby, but Long Island's so far. Like it's like even like we were staying close to the gym, but it'd be like a $15 Uber, like $16, $20 Uber from our place to
train.
the gym. And so we were like, we're just basically, you pay for it today, and we're just splitting the costs. But yeah, ideally I can stay in Long Island, but for the most part I was staying in Manhattan, so it'd be like 2.5 hours. It was the most expensive training in terms of a commute, because I'd have to take the train to Penn Station, take the Long Island Rail to Ronkonkoma, and then I'd have to get an Uber, or someone can pick me up. But it happens sometimes, but a lot of the time I had to take an Uber, and that was another. So it was like the train, $15 one way on the Long Island Rail, and then another like $15+ to the gym. And it was like the most. And I was doing this like at one point. It was like I was doing this like most days of the week, like 4 days a week, and I was like, I can't look at my bank account right now. This would be terrible. It was so like this is what I don't like about New York. It's pricey and mildly inconvenient.
There's a reason why the railroad subway system was so bad in New York. You know this, right?
No.
There's the longest book I've ever read in my life. Right? It's called The Power Broker, Robert Moses.
Okay.
It's about a guy that basically ran New York City for like 40, 50 years from government positions, but never elected. But he would have a personal account tied to his group that would take all the toll road money from around New York City. Mm-hmm. So he built all the highways, everything. He built most public construction, and he would deliberately underfund the subway system because he'd make more money off the cars taking toll roads. So they deliberately kept it underfunded. That's why it's so shit in some areas of New York.
Damn. I mean, it's better than Austin. Like Austin, I have no choice.
I
mean, there's the bus.
You're staying close now.
Fortunately, I'm lucky enough that now that was the case. When I first came here, it was a 45-minute walk from the place that I was staying here. So I'd be like, fuck it. I'm not going back in between morning and noon training. I'm just staying here.
Just staying and sleeping, eh?
Yeah, but
training 3 times a day.
Now that I'm here, yeah.
Actually, before we move away from New York, the most legendary figure in all of New York Jiu-Jitsu, Detective Joe Brunetti, the man that's impossible to choke.
And very possible to choke me from bottom side control.
You remember Joe, right?
No.
Joe was the guy, and this is why I always respect this guy. He'd come to class, in the morning class, lunch class, whatever. He'd show up at the time it was meant to start. He'd pick a random person out. He'd be in a T-shirt, bald guy, start rolling with him before class. John would start teaching. He'd be like, fuck this shit. He'd go lift weights next door. And then he'd come back in for the rolling portion.
Fuck. Maybe if I saw him, I'd recognize him.
Impossible to DARS. He's so hard to choke.
Literally, he would give me a DARS. Like, everyone I know has tried DARSing him. And you just burn out your arms. It's like, wow, this is just terrible.
Yeah,
he's funny because he'd be like, good boy, Joe, good boy. I'm like, he actually made me feel comfortable. I was like, he's so nice. This is.
He gave you what you needed in life. Good boy. Good boy.
I don't know. It was something like fatherly, the way he was acting. There's something fatherly about the way he was doing it. It was like, wow. Like, anyone else, I would think, fuck off. But I was like, this is okay.
You're hearing that from father-like figures. Nicky Ryan hears that from the women in his life.
Oh, my God. No.
That's a story for another time, man.
Oh, my God.
But Joe actually took me on a ride-along. You should get him to take you on a ride-along.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen him actually my last trip to New York.
Didn't you see a dead body with him?
Saw a dead body, yeah.
Yeah. You know, this man used to go out hunting for dead bodies.
No, that's part of the reason you go on a hike, right? You're trying to see, maybe it's a dead body.
He would like do research on like fucking places where people have died and shit.
No.
And he would go, yes, him.
I don't reckon that detailed, eh?
No.
I wouldn't be like, fuck yeah, there's been 12 bodies found, let's go. Otherwise, I would have been in Long Island. That's what
You would have enjed Tokyo then, I'm sure.
The extent of my research was, listen, John, where you been dumping them lately?
Oh, my God.
Dude, but Joe Brunetti, I love this cunt because when I asked him about, I was like, yo, Danaher could be the Long Island serial killer. And he literally goes, I've thought about this. He doesn't have a car. How would he get the bodies out there? What was crazy was they caught that guy and his office was close to Henzo Gracie's. He had a real estate office there. So he'd catch a train into Penn Station. That's what we caught the train into. That's pretty bizarre, eh?
Yeah.
And it wasn't Danaher. I don't know.
Yeah. I listened. Was that on the podcast you were talking about this?
Yes, yeah. Calling him a serial killer, yeah.
Terrible.
But Joe is a legendary figure. It was funny because he took me for a ride along and it was just me and him. And then all of his other partners, like other detectives and shit, was like, look at this fucking gay dude bringing people out into the car with him in the middle of the night.
Oh my
so
God.
much shit. It was a cool experience. It was experience before the protests and COVID and shit. So I was like, I'm not sure if we can do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, no clue. I mean, I haven't been to New York before COVID, so hard to say.
It was not as bad before COVID. COVID fucking definitely made it.
I was talking to like someone in New York, and they're like, yeah, like talking about rent and how it's like before COVID rent, before like the rent in like downtown Brooklyn now was the rent in Manhattan or something like this. It went up like crazy.
Damn.
I was like, wow, I'm glad I don't have to pay rent. I went to IKEA, bought a mattress. I'm like, this is
And sleep on the street, right?
definitely no. Stay at a friend's place.
That's all right. You got friends everywhere, mate. Where are your top destinations? Obviously, Shanghai was better for me. The previous time I went to Shanghai and it was Kamal taking care of me, dirt, terrible.
Kamal's
bad
terrible, man.
experience.
He doesn't know anything.
The best part is, so I go to Shanghai to do a seminar at Kamal's school, and in front of all his students, I put him in a wrist lock, and I apply it pretty slowly.
This is your favorite story to tell.
Pretty respectfully. And he just starts letting his wrist break.
How can you apply a wrist lock respectfully? That's a contradiction.
I agree.
Watch a Steven Seagal movie.
That's not a thing.
Watch a Seagal movie, eh?
I'll say you've never put a sub on slow in your life. Okay?
Have I ever injured you?
No, because I know that you do that, and I tap early.
I put it on slow, you know?
No, you don't.
Slow and controlled, mate.
Yeah.
But to answer that question, I broke both his wrists.
And you actually have injured me before.
And that, if you take a good look at Kamal, that's a man that needs his wrists. You know what I mean? Like that's actually, I've heard him quite a bit injuring his wrists. It's going to be a very unsatisfied time in his life. You know?
He's with Lachlan now. Maybe he's taking better care of him.
Oh, yeah, hopefully. He needs some psychological support after that, I think. In retrospect, it was a terrible thing to do, but it's something I look back on with a lot of joy.
Fair. I mean,
You do way worse shit to people than me.
no.
We ask people all the time in the gym, we say, who does worse shit? And they say,
Because you don't
fucking
roll with anyone
Jozef
else.
Chen.
Bro, you roll. Okay, who said that?
The whole gym.
Literally no one's ever said that.
Everyone says, hey,
No
this fucking kid
No,
comes
I'm
in.
so nice. What do you mean? I've never cranked on anything. Like,
No, it's what you do, though.
It's what you
You
do.
flatten people out. You fucking foot sweeping through the air.
I can't
You'll
foot
be
sweep
a
anyone to save my
45-year-old
life.
fucking surgeon, and you'll be like, yep, fucking launched, you know? You do it technically.
That's what Jay would do, bro. I wouldn't fucking
Jay
do
does
that.
it violently. You're still doing it, but technically, you know?
Bro, no, I'm like, I think even if I were to throw someone, I make it a nice landing. Like it almost is never like anything violent. Like
I always pick you up, put you down gently.
no, definitely not.
Dude, yeah, you fucking
The Shark Tank we did,
launched
there was
me.
one, my arm was trapped and you took, like Matt returned me this time. I'm like, well, I just have to prepare to
Or
land.
did you get hurt?
I could have.
Emotionally.
Emotionally hurt.
The only person I've lifted and actually almost killed was JB.
Oh, fuck.
Bro, I saw the hurrah you
remember
hit on
this.
him. I'm like, bro, you're telling me I'm not the nice one? Bro, that was terrible.
That's technical, mate. He was okay.
But it was executed in a manner that looked terrible.
But he was behind me. He could have lifted me. You know, we got to hit him with a fucking quick
Sure,
thing.
bro. Sure, bro.
A bit of judo, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime you get behind me now, I just immediately put my knees on the mat.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's you're a guy that's
good
hard
call.
to get off his knees in my defense, you know. But you fucking do this. You are built like a sphere. Again, you're built like the Death Star, and you'll use that to Granby. And I'm just like, well, fuck you, Granby, and I'm just gonna slam you into the ground, you know.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit. He does this at 8 in the morning. 8 in the morning, I'm getting fucking lifted to the ceiling and then
Say-
fucking slammed into the mat.
That's a fucking wake up call, man.
Yeah. That's probably why my back is fucked up.
Your back's fucked up because you're a lazy piece of shit.
Oh, yes, that's why.
Too many video games, man.
No. We're off the video games
You stopped
now.
playing video games.
Yes.
That's a good thing, right?
Yes.
Are you shocked?
He told me the other day, I was like, solid.
Yeah.
What are you doing instead? Just drugs or something?
A little bit of that. Definitely a little bit of that. But, no, I don't know. I go through phases. I stopped playing video games. At first it was chess. Now it's gone to ping pong.
Ping pong.
Yes.
At least you're keeping your career options open, you know.
I should switch sports. I'm pretty good at ping pong now.
Ping pong, yeah. The only ping pong I like's in Thailand, unfortunately.
Oh, my God.
Those Thai shows are wild, eh? They can get
I never-
pigeons out of there, turtles out of there, everything, eh?
Yeah, I've never been to one, but I've heard that they're fucking wild.
That could be something for you also, you know.
Yeah.
Now, they'll shoot darts out of there, bro.
Yeah, I've heard some pretty crazy shit.
You hold a balloon, they shoot a dart out.
That's scary.
Scary. But if a commanding older woman told you to do it, you'd do
Oh,
it.
here we go. Here we go. No. This motherfucker.
Well, so I won't bring up bad memories, man, or very good memories. Eh? Jozef, your learning style, you drill, you study technique, you do all these things that Nicky Ryan doesn't. Can you tell us more about that?
I mean, I think it was like more out of circumstance, and then like obviously I started in a gym where it was like fairly encouraged. Like I don't know, you might know this guy named, like my original coach in Nanjing, he's under this guy named Rob Bernanke.
Famous friend of Eddie Cummings.
I heard the DDS people aren't too fond of him, but
They don't fucking like anyone though, you know. Like,
I don't even know who that is.
well, how do I explain it?
all right, I'll explain it. You
You
can
can
correct me if
explain
I'm
it.
wrong. I heard Rob Bernanke did like a bunch of private lessons with Eddie, and then put the techniques out on a DVD or something.
Oh, fuck. I didn't know his name, but I remember this happening.
Canadian guy, right?
A Canadian. Well, it's good. Maybe that's where I got it from. But
You're
Anyways.
like, I don't like the techniques, but I like how you acquired them.
I mean, I haven't bought that many privates. So I wouldn't have done it that way. But no. So I actually think. Besides that, I think.
Yeah, who knows the accuracy of that? I'm just saying
Yeah.
what I heard.
Yeah, I don't know either. This is before my time, but he has like a pretty good approach to like doing jiu-jitsu. Like he did like specific rounds. Like I was like, we were doing specific rounds when I started jiu-jitsu, and it was like hyper specific. It wasn't like, okay, we're doing mount situation. One of my favorite like ones that I used to do when like back home was he called it "fuck your jiu-jitsu," and I know he credited like Ryan Hall for like the name of it. He's like basically trying to disrespect someone's jiu-jitsu. So you can do it like from a bunch of different positions, but stuff like that where it's like your goal isn't just, okay, I'm going to play this position, but in what manner are you playing the position is interesting. And so doing rounds like that was quite helpful. And then obviously I was encouraged to watch instructionals, especially because at the time my coach was a purple belt, right? Now he actually fine. He's been training for like a long time. And like, he just got, you met him. He was at the Bali camp. Guillaume, the Canadian guy.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, so it was a good environment to start in. And especially because I got like a fair bit of time, like during class, I was able to drill like my own stuff as well, so I could just watch instructionals and I could ask for the coaches feedback on certain types of technique and stuff like this. So it was very good for like improvement, especially at the start and kind of building this type of habit. This mostly happened like after COVID, because before COVID I was like just a normal, like I was in school, I was just a student, and I'd come like, if a good week would be, I could come like most nights of the week, right? But then after COVID I was like, okay, because I'm going to like train hard, watch a bunch of instructionals and stuff like this. And that's when it started going a little bit further than that. And then, I mean, I've talked about it on a few other podcasts, right? Like how I like to approach training, like trying to steal stuff from everywhere in regards to like how I can train. Like I don't really like just normal drilling where it's like, I remember you were talking to Kit about this, where it's like, playing like one, having like a dialogue in certain positions is something I think is good, where it's like you're actually trying to explore your options, see why you're doing one thing over the other, and this is something I'll try to do a lot. And then like using specific rounds and maybe giving like constraints to one partner. It's like, okay, like this is how I teach a lot of the time, where it's like, okay, approaching a seated guard, like the bottom man, trying to like encouraging them to do, okay, now we're going to practice holding them down, so tell them just stand up, or now we're going to practice hand fighting and just ask them to stay seated and stuff like this. But, I mean, I don't want to get, like, overly into this topic, but, yeah, that's how it started, and that's it, basically.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, because most people just fucking think they're training out, but they're kind of lazy. They just show up, listen to their coach's techniques only, roll, fight to the fucking death in every position, and then go home and think they've had a hard session, but they've really done no problem solving.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do think like starting in a gym, like having a coach is useful, and like this is something I've been trying to do lately, like having Dima help me and having like a third party help me, because like being like reliant on like your own study, it can kind of hard to look at things, especially when it involves you, like you and your skill relative to someone else's more objectively, because if you think about your game, you're maybe like a little bit more biased, or you don't see things as clearly. So I think there is a utility having a coach, but if you're solely reliant on that, you're very limited, I think. So being able to figure that out for yourself is super useful, I think.
Yeah, I think it's good to like figure out the techniques for yourself, but have a coach, almost like a football coach or something, guide the practice. That's like a great combination, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Something unique to both of you guys, and it might be the best base for jiu-jitsu, is being a fat teenager. Huh?
It's true. I was very fat. I was the same weight that I am now when I was like 12 and 13.
Same. I was heavier when I was 12 and 13.
I honestly was too. I think I was 175 when I was like 13. I had some bitch tits on me.
I think when I was like 12, 13, I was like 83, 84 kilos. So I don't know what that is in pounds.
That's huge, bro.
Nah, bro. Depends. I wasn't like hugely fat.
Kilos,
I was
holy
like
shit.
chubby.
I was 83 kilos when I went through my second puberty at 25.
You had a second
My second puberty at 25.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It came on again strong, you know?
I was slow on that one.
Still going through it.
Still figuring it out.
Yeah, Kamal sent me a picture of you as a fat kid with a flotation device.
That was much younger. Bro, that was... he likes that picture too much. But
Wow, he's Turkish.
I remember we were doing like a quintet in Shanghai, and we're like, this is our team, and we had the most whack photos of our whole team, and that was the photo they used. And I was like, what was this? It was funny though.
Hard to tell how old you were. I was like, he could be 16, he could be 8 years old.
I think that one was more closer to 8 than 16.
He's a mystery. So you're going to retire after next ADCC?
No, but I didn't say that. You're taking a few steps
Whoever wins is retiring. For sure, you're retired. Bro,
Oh, absolutely.
you win, you're done.
If I win, I'm absolutely done. Yes.
If you win, you're going to both, A, get therapy, and B, retire.
C, become a drug addict.
How good is this? It's a battle of who gets to retire, eh? You would love to win at once and retire. 4 subs, retire. You like traveling, eating food, seeing different parts of the world.
Yeah, I mean,
Spreading jiu-jitsu.
I think since I started jiu-jitsu, like, at least I started taking it more seriously. I was always, like, conscious that this isn't going to be, like, my whole life. So it wasn't like I tried, like, being, like, fairly self-aware in this sense where I'm like, okay, it's not just jiu-jitsu, which is, like, I mean, it's more of a personal preference because I feel like I would almost get too bored if it was just jiu-jitsu. Like, there are things that I like outside of jiu-jitsu, and, I mean, this is also, I think, useful in terms of not getting burnt out, because I've felt like a few times where I've gotten close to burning out, especially when I go too heavy and, like Instructionals. Like, I'll go, like, a few months, and I'll just be, like, watching a bunch, but I do, like, I don't think I'd ever stop training, but
Yeah,
probably
I
at a
love
lesser
training.
frequency. Yeah, because I feel like that's what everyone starts with. You just enjoy the training. I mean, some people I think are more like they enjoy competition as well, but for me, that's not what does it. Like, I think I could train every day for probably the rest of my life, and I'd be okay with that and never compete. But I mean, I'm starting to enjoy competition a little bit more. Like QUINTET I thought was super fun actually.
Obviously, you guys let us down, but nah.
So we were
Okay.
77 guys fighting 88 kg guys.
I thought yeah. I mean, Tarek, I was surprised he did 88, but yes.
Who wins, Tarek or Santiri? Another plug. This is a plug, guys, but this is also useful information. Obviously, I'm sponsored by Evertine. Evertine take care of my anti-aging needs. All of those additional supplements you might need. The beauty of my position is because I look like I don't take steroids. When I talk about taking steroids, people think, he's just a funny bastard. He doesn't take any steroids. The sad truth is I do. I do take steroids. I used to take them illegally online. I used to just order them off random websites, put it in the body. I used to cross the border down to Tijuana. I'd go into a pharmacy down there, I'd buy some steroids, and I'd say, God damn it, guys, do you have a bathroom I can use? And I'd go into that bathroom and I'd inject steroids into my quad. That is willpower. Luckily, these days we don't have to do that thanks to the beauty of Evertine. Evertine provides me everything and anything I need. Cialis being one of those substances. So obviously, I'm going to slowly release the stack I'm on to obviously stay as youthful, as handsome, as intelligent, and as strong as I am. But we'll start with Cialis. Cialis, you might think it's just for your dick. It gives you a great muscle pump. So if you're vain, you want to work out, look in the mirror, Cialis is going to give you a good pump. Cialis is also good for your blood pressure, good for some of the things that might provide some negative effects if you're on testosterone. So I do take 6 milligrams a day, and if I'm feeling particularly frisky, we might bump that up to a 20. That's for damn sure. You might get a headache, but let's just say that headache will absolutely be worth it. But yeah, that's something I take every day. That's something in the rotation of my stack. It's one of my favorite things to take, obviously for obvious reasons. But yeah, Evertine hooks me up with the Cialis prescription. A great thing to add if you're taking any sort of anti-aging testosterone substances. So again, Evertine legends, they'll take care of anyone with a Texas residence. These guys are pros. I keep demanding them to give me absolutely huge numbers of testosterone, really push the boundaries of what can be modern medical science, but they rein me in. They keep me to safe amounts, and that's something that cannot be said for all anti-aging clinics around America. I think that's very important. If you guys are looking for someone to work with, float the idea of how many milligrams they'll give you a week. If they're willing to go hard, maybe they're not the right ones for you. So you really want to have your health in the hands of professionals, the people that will be concerned with your health outcomes and not just give you exactly what you want. Guys, then you can save 5% off your Evertine, whatever you need services, apart from your first blood test, right? Just use the coupon code BTEAM-5. That'll give you 5% off your work with Evertine, who I absolutely fucking love these guys.
In a match? Well, I mean,
Well,
Santeri won the
Santeri won
division.
the trials, so
That's true, eh?
But you gassed. I didn't gas.
That's true.
yes, you did.
I didn't.
When we both got backstage,
You were way more tired.
We were
You
both
way
like,
more tired.
we were like,
It was like ADCC, last ADCC all over again.
listen,
bro.
I went after you, okay? So there's
Oh,
less
come on,
time.
it's not a gangbang, man. Come on.
No, bro,
and
you were
both of
directly
us-
after me. Bro, I was much more fresh than you were.
Listen, I went against the
You were like,
trials
there's
winner.
no way I could go next. At least
I went
was
against the
competing
trials.
next week.
Listen, I went against the trials winner. All right, Santeri's tougher. Went after you, and then when we both got backstage, we were both like, "All right,
I was
we
like-
cannot go first."
Okay, I said I can't go. I said I didn't want, like, I'll be at the end because I was like, okay, I'm competing next weekend. It wasn't like, oh my God, I can't move. I wasn't even breathing that
bullshit
hard. My
excuses.
arms are a little bit like pumped, but that's it, bro. You were like,
Collapsed lung
And
potential.
Santeri he's one of the best to ever do it.
oh
all
no, I
right?
think he's amazing. Not best to ever do it. It's you have to be. I mean, I'm not saying he
Three-time
isn't
ADCC trials winner. All right, he's the goat.
more than what you have.
Wow. I still got the youngest ADCC competitor ever.
Yeah, fair.
I should just retire off of that. I've hit my peak already.
But you lost to
Now
AJ,
now
bro.
it's
How could
down.
you lose to AJ?
I was a
Bro,
kid.
Jeremy beat AJ.
I was a
bro.
kid. Ethan also lost to AJ.
Still.
AJ, he's got a good gas tank. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he does.
How did he lose this last trials? I saw he was there, but I didn't see him lose.
Oh, he lost. He lost to actually. Oh fuck! Well, won't say his name, but yeah, he lost to one of the guys that came in to train with us.
So another man that avenged your loss, man.
Yes.
But I mean, I think Santeri is very good, but you were definitely way more tired than I was. I'm not arguing anything else. The quality of competitor doesn't matter. You were more tired. Yes, that's a fact.
Nope.
Well, I guess the good thing is,
What were you doing next week? I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to get hurt.
So you're scared.
Bro, I have trials.
Yeah.
it's good back
Listen.
and forth, mate.
I volunteered to go before you in the next round.
That was after like 30 minutes after the match.
Not.
I was like,
It wasn't
okay.
even 30 minutes in between the fucking first
Wow,
team
there
and
was
the
the-
second team.
There was probably definitely more than 30 minutes.
I don't know.
Oh, we were chilling back there for a while. You
Dude, we
remember?
went back there and they're immediately like, we need the order right now.
Well, yes, but because it's a show, they want to know the order.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying immediately after I volunteered
Nah,
to go
bro.
before you. But then
You're
Nicky Ryan was
not.
like, I don't trust Jozef Chen to, get the job done. He's like, I want you last in case we need it.
Definitely, bro.
That's
There's
what
only
happened.
One thing that needs to be said: you're both cowards. and
I think he's
fucking-
more of a coward.
Don't worry, though. I was there. I literally finished my match. The quintet ladies coming over, like, "What's your order?" I turn around and you're like, "You guys are like."
that was him. I was just like, I have trials.
No, I was pretty gassed.
But
I almost
I'm
threw
looking forward
up.
to the documentary to see. I want to relive your level of fatigue.
It was pretty bad. I
Trying
was,
not to puke. Eh?
yeah, we were walking up there and then as I was like walking in the room, I was like this close to throwing up.
I was pretty happy, though, that you took out 10 Planet, because I would have hate to have a match with Kyle Babe. I'm like,
He's big and strong, eh?
yeah, I'm like, this is terrible for me. I was like, Craig, please, you can do it.
I got a good Kyle Bame story. Actually, I would consider Kyle. I like Kyle now. We're cool now. We're friends now, and he's talked some shit in the past because he just selling matches and shit. I guess But ADCC after party, someone's giving me a bag of Molly. I'm not into it. Not feeling it. Right? Don't want that bag of Molly on me. I turn around. There's a lone man in a swimming pool, all by himself, sitting in silence, looking straight ahead. He's not even on his phone, eh? These days, if I look and someone's not on their phone, I think this guy's fucking planning a shooting.
Oh my God.
This guy up to. I look back, I see him, I hand him the bag of money. I say, "You need this more than me." And he's like, "What's the dosage?" And I was like, "Don't even worry about it." And then I set him on his path for the night. But yeah, that's the type of guy I am. I give it away,
Yeah.
Someone needs something more than me, they take it,
So generous.
Very generous, eh? It didn't feel as generous the next day when I felt great.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, the come down off of MD is not fun.
You're still coming down off your 15-year-old peak in life, eh? What happened to the gas? You had a good gas tank at 15, huh?
I did. Used to have a good gas tank.
What do you reckon killed it?
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Just getting too old.
Can we make you guys do a cardio? Let's measure your VO2 maxes next to each other.
We could do that.
I don't have good cardio either, though. I'm not. I mean, maybe not as bad, but.
Well, I mean, come on.
I mean, I have definitely gas. I remember my match with Kenta. That was like probably one of the most gassed I've ever been.
Oh, you were dead, eh?
That was terrible.
And then you had to compete straight away again after that, eh?
I was like less than 5 minutes. I was like, this is terrible. But I haven't puked before in competition, but if that was a little longer, that probably would have happened.
You actually puked on someone in training, right?
Yes, I did, actually. This is a funny story. This is when I was like 13, still like a fat kid. And they used to have a gi competition class in between the morning and noon session at Henzo's. So I'd do morning session, and then I would go straight into the gi comp session. And I'm a white belt, and I'm training with like this black belt. And they do like an insane amount of rounds. It's like over an hour straight of training, and like you're not allowed to sit out. So I get like super gassed, and then I'm training with this black belt, and he's being super nice, and I'm like top turtle on him, and just a little bit of puke fucking slides out of my mouth onto the back of his gi, but I didn't make any noises or anything, so he didn't hear it, and I'm like fucking shy, nervous 13-year-old, and I'm like, I'm not going to say shit. So I just continue training with like there's like little puddle of fucking vomit on this dude's back.
Did you still try to take his back?
I did not. No, I let him back to guard.
That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, not one of my best moments.
Was it a Hot Pocket coming out?
Fuck, probably.
The fucking gas station food? That's even worse.
Dude, you know the scars that I have on my fucking face are due to Hot Pockets. So when I was a kid, like probably 5 or 6, I made a Hot Pocket, or my mom made me a Hot Pocket, and I needed a paper towel, but I was too short to reach the paper towels. So I climb up onto the kitchen counter, grab a paper towel, I go to jump off, and when I jump off, my head, it's like a corner, my head slams right into the corner. So I have like a scar here and a scar like underneath my eyebrow, because I just got my head split open grabbing a paper towel to wipe my hands from the Hot Pocket.
I bet you still ate the Hot Pocket.
No. Yeah, I had to get rushed to the fucking hospital, get stitches.
Damn.
These are the struggles of growing up in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Fucking he's Indiana Jones of eating fucking shitty microwavable food.
Dude, yeah, I'm back on that trend. I just bought a bunch of frozen breakfast sandwiches. He saw me buy them, actually.
You were there at the same time?
Yeah, I took him grocery shopping.
If you assess Nicky Ryan's lifestyle and you assess it as an athlete, what do you give it out of 10 as a rating? 10 being Lance Armstrong, 0 being Freddie.
I mean, I think no one in this room is probably above a 7, but
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
You're the fucking lowest by far.
You're looking at a 2-time 80cc silver medalist.
No, but as an athlete, we don't care your accomplishments.
Yeah,
as an athlete, Nicky Ryan's actually probably pretty good, and Ethan probably as well, right? So we'll ignore them.
Jay's good as well.
Jay's good, but I mean, I don't work out, so that's probably not good. I mean, you say you don't lift, but you probably do.
It's a little bit by little bit basis. You know, like I don't lift consistently, but if I have a little bit of energy, do a little workout.
So like, let's say last week, how many times have you lifted?
You're just traveling, no?
Yeah, I was traveling. So I did lift once traveling. That was the first time in a while, and I was fucking sore from it. Regretted it, eh? It was the last day in Abu Dhabi. Hit the gym, hit some squats, pull-ups, overhead press, bench press. Then we went and trained. Then I was just chilling all day until I had a 3 a.m. flight. And then I was fucking sore after that. That's how I know I haven't lifted for a while. I feel like I do some squats and my legs are dying.
But the issue is I can't imagine you lifting weights. Like I can't imagine the visual of this. I feel like it's something I've never seen. Like, have you seen him lift weights?
Yeah, I've lifted with him.
You think this
Really?
ass built itself, mate?
He does actually have really good form for all of his lifts.
Really?
Perfect form, mate.
I can't even imagine. Like, I don't think I've ever seen you do a pull up. But I mean,
That's one of his main exercises. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
Pulling myself off is a fucking...
do you lift now?
Me, nah. It's been a while since I lifted.
Is that are you
Over
trying
here.
to make fun of the cunt? Like, does he lift?
No. I asked you if you lift. Same thing to you. No, but I mean, yeah,
I really should. Should at least do fucking rehab for my knees.
probably right.
All forms of rehab.
Yeah. Fuck, you're not wrong.
I think lifting will. I want to start lifting while I'm here, just because it's traveling. I find it so difficult. Like when I was in Europe, I'd be in places for like less than 48 hours, and then I'd be going, and then I'd have like barely any sleep. I was like, okay, there's no way I can work out here. But now I'll probably get a membership somewhere here and try to do some like real stuff, because I don't know what's the worst that can.
How
Probably
else do you think I'm the strongest human being on earth?
Okay, now, I don't think you're the strongest, but you're probably one of the strongest I've rolled with in terms of like isometric strength. Like,
Just
but then you're strong like that. After experiencing you in the Shark Tank, I was like, okay, he's human. I'm like, okay, this isn't all that bad. I'm like, there's something underneath this. Because before, bro, when we did the round in Bali, that was like probably the most.
trying though.
I was.
Yeah,
Like-
I'm not trying.
Bro, that was like the most. I was like, I can't move you. Like, I was literally trying to play single leg X, and you just like squished it. I was like, I have a
That's
frame.
technique,
My
brother.
femur is in
That is
between.
not technique.
Like,
That's
my
technique,
femur is in
man.
between our bodies, but it's not enough.
But just think about what you guys are saying. Imagine you're trying to tell someone, you'd be like, look at that guy. I can't do anything because of his strength. And they're going to look at me and they're going like, you're a fucking idiot.
You do look like a weak bitch, that's for sure.
That's why if I look weak, it must be technique.
I mean, I'd like to really like roll with someone who's like crazy, like a power lifter or something like this, or like a strong man, and see how strong they feel. Like,
I don't know. I feel like grappling strength is very different.
but imagine like Thor Bjornsson. I feel like I wouldn't be able to do shit. Like you see Dustin Poirier like roll with I don't know. whichever
Oh,
strong
yes.
man.
Yeah.
But like
yeah,
he couldn't
so-
do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone got hurt rolling with one of the strongmen, I think. I'm trying to remember one of the fighters.
Wouldn't surprise me. I
I
mean,
hurt my shoulder with the fucking sumo wrestler, right?
how strong do those people feel?
Pretty strong.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, you're an absolute disgrace of a human being for not getting in the sumo outfit, bro. No one was built for a sumo outfit like you.
No, I couldn't be caught in that thing.
Wearing diapers, they look like diapers. Wearing diapers is something that's very strong in your family. And that's you pushing away your family roots. Bro.
I fucking hate you. Listen, that was a rough day, all right? We had gone out the night before. I was still recovering.
That wasn't the night before. This was the next day. Yeah, he's the only
Gone out
cunt
2
that's
nights.
22 that needs fucking a 3-day hangover. Seriously, he'll go on a Friday night and I'll get a message Monday, be like, I can't come in, bro.
No.
Suffering.
It's when I
And I'll hear
first
the
started
bath running
partying.
in the background, eh?
When I first started partying, I was like, we're getting better. Remember Vegas? Fucking 2 hours of sleep after a night out.
Back on the horse, mate.
Went straight to training at the PI. It's getting better.
Solid. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't know.
You are the uncorruptible, mate. That's good though.
Yeah, Bali
and
was
Jay.
annoying. Jay. I'd say Jay's better than me. Like, I mean, at least I've stayed out, like, just looking at you. Like, in Bali, I was just there. It was like, but Jay doesn't even entertain it. Like, I was like,
No.
he was
I
like, no.
forced him to come out with us once
Yeah.
in Vegas. It was my birthday.
Oh, really?
And I don't think I've ever seen him more miserable. Yeah, he just sat there all depressed. There's like women trying to talk to him, and he's just sitting there depressed. They're like, "Why does he speak English?" I'm like, "Yeah, he does."
I mean, I admire it. I want to be like that. I mean, but I feel like I'll go, but then I just won't. I'll just watch.
How good is it that today he was told it was a Halloween costume party, so he showed up, the only one in the whole gym dressed as a cowboy.
Okay, actually, I heard him talking about this in the changing room. He was like, they wanted me to wear the Scooby-Doo outfit, but I was like, he felt like there was something wrong, so he decided. I think that was the right call, right?
I think Scooby Doo was less embarrassing than wearing all denim. He came in dressed as a cowboy and he's from Jersey. I was like, bro, what are you, fucking Gordon Ryan? Is this the costume? I was like, tag him in a picture. He reshares.
Fuck.
Fancy dress, hey. Well, we'll probably leave it at that, eh? We'll end every episode that you're on with you offending your family history and causing you problems after the fact, eh?
What? That's bullshit.
No, but it's been a highly informative, educational discussion.
Indeed.
Into the mind of the pirate, the instructional pirate.
You met the instructional pirate
I
in
did.
Shanghai. That was a fun
I did. He actually attacked
story.
He attacked his cab driver in front of me. I was like, fuck, this cunt's deranged. He had a full steamy match. He's talking to me and he starts screaming at this cab driver, and then the cab driver drives off and he chases this cunt down the street.
Wait, who is this?
The guy that fucking...
The one I got instructionals from.
Yeah, maniac, bro. Maniac, eh?
Hilarious.
Yeah. That's it, eh?
Thank you for listening to el segundo podcast. Don't forget, Fuck Craig Jones.